The Uniball season, I believe it's 66 days until Uniball comes back to us. Sweet, delicious Uniball comes back to us. But it's still the preseason. There's still time to talk about things. One of the hottest topics in the whole of Uniball, the whole of it, scholarships. Are they good? Are they bad? What entails a scholarship? What do you need to do? And I've got some of the wonderful people from the Sheffield Hallam Warriors sort of go through with me what it's like to be a scholarship player, and then just their thoughts on scholarships. Don't look at the cat. Don't look at the cat, ladies and gentlemen. So if you can just go around the table, introduce yourself, and then we'll get right into it. Go that way first. That
Right.
way.
I'm Finlay. I'm the chairman for Sheffield Hallam Warriors. I've been playing since I was about 14, and I've been at Hallam for 4 years now, going into my fifth. I'm unfortunately not a scholarship athlete, unlike the other two players in the call.
I'm David, David Annie. I'm a D lineman at Sheffield Hallam. I'm also the social media officer for the Sheffield Hallam University team. And as Finn previously said, I am one of the scholarship athletes at Sheffield Hallam. Played American football for about God knows how many years now. I think it's been 4 or 5 years. But yeah, just passing on to my co-part there.
Yeah, well, I'm Jason Sanders. As David said, I'm the other scholarship athlete. I've also been playing American football for years. Probably started at 2014 in Germany. That's where I'm from. Came to Hallam to study because I wanted to study in England, since my dad also studied here, and so I just wanted to follow in his footsteps, and got the chance to play with a scholarship here at Hallam. And it's just been really, really great. Yeah.
So sort of with that, it's a big topic because you see teams, more notably the UE Bullets. That's the team where people turn around and go, scholarships, eh? But what are your sort of? I know you might have a skewed view, but I think it's just a good start off question. What are your thoughts on scholarships as a whole?
I guess I'll answer that. I think scholarships are great, honestly. It gives you an incentive to play a sport you enjoy at uni, even though it might be difficult. You have all this support, which might be a financial reward or the ability to not have to pay to play, as I know obviously some universities do that. Obviously, there's this whole stigma around scholarships. So you've got to be this American or European player or this player from God knows where. But obviously that's not the case for a lot of places, including and especially Sheffield Hallam.
Yeah. To go on to that, I totally agree. I think it's great that we actually offer them, and not only in the big sports, that like not only in soccer or football as we call it, or in like these big other sports, athletics and stuff like that, but actually in a sport that's growing like American football. It's not, compared to other sports, it's not like massive yet, but we still actually get support. And I think that's also a way to get more and more people interested in it, because it gets a more serious tone to it. So it's not just like some random sport. It's actually, okay, this is a serious sport. And also you get your like players from England and maybe also from Europe that put that extra effort in, because if they know, okay, I can actually get a lot of help with my training, with my finance, whatever, just by putting in the effort and playing at a very high level, then that's just another incentive.
The only thing I can really add to that is I think they improve the quality of the sport played in this country, regardless of who gets awarded the scholarships. I mean, even as a player, it makes you better because it gives you better access to S&C and to more training and making you a better athlete and better for the sport.
So this one's more to like David and Jason. Like we hear it a lot when scholarship athletes are brought over, that one of the components is that the adage of iron sharpens iron. It's like do you feel that way? Do you feel like people can sort of sit under, I guess, your learning tree a little bit, just
Yeah.
sort of give them just a bit more, just give them the life experience that you've had, just passed on like a little trickle down to them.
100%. And I also actually really appreciate our coaches for that, because they actually recognize it really early on that we actually had a lot more knowledge than maybe even some of the coaches and definitely a lot of the players. And they just let us integrated us into the coaching and let us to even take over specific parts of sessions. Or like what we also did was just us players sit down another day, maybe like after training or like the day after training, just hop on a call and just talk over some stuff that just over huddle, for example, just talking over the video that we made, and we actually like look at the details. And just so the coaches have a limited amount of time, we have more time than them, so it's like onto us athletes that maybe have more experience to give back to the other guys.
Yeah, 100% agree with what Jason says. You know, a lot of, for example, me and Jason, we've been playing for a really long time, which is, you know, a lot longer than a few players that have come into university and thought, I want to try a new sport. So it's a case of, you know, sometimes as a scholarship athlete there, you do have to step up and, you know, guide the people that don't know as much or haven't played as much, which is obviously an amazing thing, and benefits us not only in American football, but also outside of it. You know, like Jason said, sometimes, you know, you have to use your own time to better others. And I honestly think that's a great thing when it comes to American football and scholarships in general.
So obviously, Hallam, you know, they made a big push sort of towards the playoffs last year. Again, I was there for the game against Loughborough, and I can't speak more highly. That game was great. But as you sort of look towards what could be the future, I'm not anyone read the article. If you haven't read the article, go and read it. About what's happening in the north. Obviously, if you're looking forward into the Premiership, do you feel like Premiership teams have to have scholarships to be able to compete at that level?
Go ahead, Jason.
All right. Well, I mean, if the problem with it is that already there are these big teams that have already invested, and where it's like for their culture, it's normal now to have these athletes come in from like that they actually scout. And so if you're a new team coming into the Prem, you don't really have a choice, I feel like. But not only that, just teams in general also now, if you look at to Germany, if you look into the GFL, if you look to even to the GFL junior team, like the U19 squads, it's similar there now. It's like if you want to compete, you kind of have to do what the teams that are doing these things. Okay, what are they doing? Do I have to? If I want to win, I kind of have to do the same thing. So it's not like you really have a choice, which is good and not good. I personally don't really. I have mixed feelings about the whole import situation. For example, if you look at like the GFL, and you can compare that to the Prem really, because it's starting to like talks starting to happen. I feel like. And it's like where teams have a limited amount of imports that they are allowed to have, like from the States, for example. I mean, I do understand that brings a certain level of professionalism and a different audience, but at the same time, I kind of do want to keep it European or within the countries, because that's the only way that you'll actually grow the sport from the roots up. Because you don't want, like, you want to have your guys become better, so then you can actually compete. But if you just bring in these high level dudes that do all the work, it's like takes away from your guys getting better. But at the same time, if we like look at our scholarships and stuff like that on the uni level, I feel like that's a bit different, because then you can actually like if the people actually step up, like they have also in our squads and also in different sports at Hallam, for example, a lot of kids are stepping up and helping others within their team. So that's obviously a very positive element. So
Yeah. So I think obviously for the teams that are heading into the Prem or in the Prem, I think scholarship athletes are definitely an asset for the team. However, don't get me wrong, if you know the team has not previously had any scholarship athletes and you know they have a strong coaching staff, you don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, I do still believe though that you know it would benefit these teams to find themselves some scholarship athletes that can lead, that can set an example, and can help the team ultimately to get to where they need to be or they want to be.
It's like. Oh, almost Finley. You going to say something?
Yeah, I think scholarship athletes are absolutely necessary to get to the Prem and to stay in the Prem. I think the level and the quality at the top of the Prem demands that you just have to have scholarship level athletes. Because you could train someone as much as you want to. You could have a field session every day, classroom session every day, but the level of the strength and the athleticism of those guys in there, you just won't be able to beat them, especially if they're foreign imports who've been playing since they're like 10 or something like that.
So, like, the next question is like this is perfect for Jason and David. What makes the scholarship program so attractive to basically two students, two athletes? And it can be sort of more general or specifically to Sheffield Hallam.
Well, I mean, I'll do it in general first because I do know a bunch of guys also in American football that train at other unis and also are scholarships. So in general, it takes a lot of weight off your shoulders, but it also gives you a lot of tools to work with. So for example, now at Hallam, we get so much access. We get obviously the whole SNC, the whole gym, and you get these really, really qualified coaches that actually like work one-to-one with you. And also obviously a big part of American football is recovery. So physiotherapy, all of that, nutrition. So you get so much help and so much assistance, and it's just there. So if you want to take it, obviously no one's going to spoon feed you. You've got the stuff there. If it's down to you to actually go out of your way to get in contact with these people, show up to gym, show up to SNC, and just do the work. So that's also like another part of it. It's not going to be spoon fed, but that's also the whole point of uni, especially in my opinion. It's like you have to put in the work, and that's also where it comes into. Like when selecting the scholarship guys, I also think we're not only looking for, or not we, like people deciding, not only looking for, okay, is this guy a stud, a great athlete? No, they're also looking beyond that about like your person. Who are you as a person? Are you actually someone that's going to step up and help, or are you just there for the ride, just there like to catch some balls here and there and just be great? Like it's beyond that. So yeah.
Obviously, Jason, mentioned the access that we do have, with the nutrition, the physiotherapy, sports. Also, there's a financial side of things. There is a financial reward for these athletes, and it is a very big incentive, especially if some people feel like, oh, I might not be able to play in uni because I might have to get a job, or I might have to go on my way and do these things, or I have to pay for transport to, for example, GB and that kind of thing. There's a financial support of we'll take care of those things, which has definitely, benefited me this year. And I'm sure it benefited Jason as well. And, when you combine all these things, it's like you're in a very ideal situation, which allows you to put the best you can into the sport that you're playing, the sport you're on scholarship for.
Yeah, just to reiterate right there, because this actually like touched home for me as well, because now like looking back now at the end of the year, I was like, how much have I actually like I only realized then how much money actually I didn't have to put in because of the scholarship. And it's like little things, like for example, GB camp, you have to get there, you have to come back, and you pay the fee and whatever, then you need new equipment, whatever, and all this stuff. It's like little amounts, and then there's like larger amounts. And so the fact that they help you out with all of this because they want to support their athletes, it just allows for you, as David said, not having to work another job, lose more time that you should be working, either studying or training or doing your personal business. So it just allows for you to do the things that you actually want to do and not having to waste time.
So sort of moving on from that, like, what do you think about the people within the sport who say that having scholarships is sort of unfair? It's not sort of playing on sort of playing on like a level playing field, if that makes sense.
Personally, I have to disagree with that. I don't think it's unfair in any sense. At the end of the day, the goal is to win, and to win, you need the best, you need to play the best, and scholarships are a great thing for that. I personally feel anybody who does think like that just does not have a winning mindset, really and truly. It's like, oh, they've got this many players, oh, we can't compete. If you think like that, you will never be able to compete. If that is an issue for whatever team it is or whoever it is, maybe it's time to look at, the team and think maybe it is time we need to look at the resources we have and try to bring somebody in or some people in that could benefit us as a team. Because not only are you just trying to win games, you're trying to build yourself a legacy for your team, And as much as there's this kind of stigma around certain teams of, oh, they bring too many scholarships in, they bring too many scholarship players in. At the end of the day, they're doing what their goal is to win. They're achieving their goal, which is to win. And yeah, personally, I just don't have any issue with scholarship players or any of that sense. Obviously, you can say I'm being biased because I'm a scholarship player myself.
So,
However,
to sort of play devil's advocate, because let's just put this out there, I do think that scholarships are a good thing for the sport, especially Uniball, where players from different countries, they don't really get the opportunity to come over for senior ball to play due to the rules. But what about if you're looking at sort of maybe basically the teams that don't classify their American football program as a performance sport, where they haven't got that classification? So like the uni simply isn't going to fund that, because I'm sure that there might be maybe like two head coaches in Uniball, maybe at a push, that would say no to scholarships. But sort of, I'm saying like sort of more, is it unfair to the teams that just simply can't get that access, or is it, or is it like, should you sort of play? Should you sort of only have access to scholarships when you are already at a level in which you are competing at the sort of higher levels of Uniball?
Yeah, well, I know where you're coming from, but at the same time, I actually think the opposite then. So if there are these unis or teams that are saying, okay, no, American football is not there yet, not a performance, not in that at that level where we can say, okay, they actually deserve scholarships, then it's beneficial even to them if other unis and other programs actually are saying, no, this is a performance team, this is a sport that we have to support. If more and more unis then start doing that, eventually it'll come around that all the unis do it, because American football is growing everywhere, in Germany, Europe, and especially here in England. So it's it has to start somewhere, and if we just say no, not yet, to everyone, then it won't grow. So there's always going to have to be that first push. You can make the analogy to the Manchester Titans this year, that did a hell of a lot of recruiting, and got a lot of criticism for it. But I also think that might now in the future open up that teams actually realize what they can do just by reaching out to people, just by pushing social media, just by contacting people. I feel like now that might have a positive effect, similar to Uniball, where now it's a lot more present on social media. That's where people see the stuff. That's why we also at Hallam, we're working a lot on our social media. We're going to have highlight tapes coming out, and to actually get people to engage with the sport, and oh wow, this is actually a cool sport, and that then will have an effect on the unis, because they'll see, oh, actually we're getting these really good people, because usually elite athletes are actually very their mindset is also good towards everything they do in life. They want to achieve, they want to win. So I actually think that's going to be a really positive thing.
So
Yeah, I think.
Oh, sorry, go on, Philly. I swear there's a
I think
delay every time I talk over you.
I think as a university, if you're not interested in being a particularly high performance team, or you don't want to compete at those high levels and just not have scholarship athletes, I think there's levels to play at. I mean, you can easily play in Division 2 and compete in Division 2 without scholarships, and then even Division 1, you can survive and compete with teams without having superstar athletes and scholarship athletes.
Then sort of, we do get lovely comments on this show. Let's just go to this one from Dan Bay. I'm not sure. It's quite long, so I'm not sure if it will flash up the entirety on the screen. I can only speak for Cardiff, but I can imagine it'll probably extend to a few other unis. But we find ourselves not to have the resources financially to get any scholarship players. Personally, I don't have a problem with playing scholarship players from the US or Europe. However, I know there are players on the Cobras that do find it unfair. See, that's it. It's for me. It's more sort of like not the because everyone wants to win. I'd be surprised if there was a coach that didn't. But it's more like not having the finances available. And we got. I'm not sure if I can say your name on this channel anymore. Instead of moaning about it, aim for the level of the teams with the scholarships, and that's sort of how I feel. Is like
same. Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
You have to sort of get to like basically where you are now as Sheffield Hallam. You're getting to that point where you're potentially you're vying for the playoffs, sort of the playoffs. You're vying for the Prem next year. So
Absolutely.
now's the time. And you've already proven to your university that they can bank on you to put on good games. Because all they care about is those cheeky Bucks points. You can stack those Bucks points, and then now it's time to bring in the glory time for the Prem. That's my personal opinion.
Exactly, and it's not only the wins that you can get. It's like, I mean, we're actually the prime example. I think Hallam. Like, if you look at the past years, I mean, continuously it's been we've been trying to like you want to get more funding, you want to get more aid, you want to get more recognition from the uni. So it's a long process, obviously. But if you stay at it, and then it's not just we got to the final. That's a big one, but also we had the highest numbers in showing up in the gym throughout the year of any team, if I'm not mistaken. So we're constantly showing up, and like we're present. We're talking to people. We're talking to the relevant people that can actually get us this stuff. So it's like it's up to the individual teams really. Just keep going and not just say, okay, no, this is just unfair. I mean, yeah, we also, of course, you can say, when you look at the game, the UE Bullets against Nottingham, I mean, yeah, there was a lot of talk about there, like how many scholarship dudes they actually had, the UE Bullets. So it's like, yeah, obviously it can go too far, maybe, but that's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about growing these maybe teams that aren't as big yet, but that are growing.
Well, in that case, how do you sort of see a team like the Brunel Burners, who are, again, much like yourselves, going for that Prem spot? People read the article, plug the article. I've got Brunel winning the South already, which is silly, I know. Brunel don't have scholarships. They don't have scholarships. I think that they've pinched a few players from other places, and I'm sure that I'll be about to get caught up on that by a certain person in the chat. SJ in the chat. Yeah. So what's your sort of thoughts on like that? Like they're doing very, very well without the need for scholarships.
Yeah.
But again, I think it goes back to what we said. Do you think that will translate if they're in the Prem? I won't say when, SJ, but.
So obviously, like Finn said earlier, you can compete without scholarships. If your team's capable and your coaching staff's capable, you can do it. Just a scholarship scheme for your club or for your team is just that kind of like a boost. Think about like a video game. You get health ups, you get health and stamina and all that nonsense, and it boosts your performance in the game. Same way, a scholarship athlete or a scholarship scheme for your university will boost how you do and how you play, and it might even boost your recognition in the uni and in sports in general. Obviously, let's hope Brunel gets to wherever it is that they want to get to. But when it does come to a point where they do come to a Prem and come to a Prem and they are faced with star athletes and great athletes, it's going to be a massive shock to them that, oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on here. Oh, crap.
You are, don't worry.
Okay. Oh, shit. We've got a bunch of athletes. We're just, we learn how to play. We're good, but we're not great. What are we going to do now? oh, maybe we should have looked at this earlier and maybe we should target this earlier so we're in a better position. And it might be a case where they're up and then they're down again, which obviously I don't want for them or anything like that. So yeah, essentially what I'm saying is you can do it, but it puts you in a more difficult position once you get to that next level, that next chapter.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's good. But we'll get off this now because I feel like this conversation could genuinely last hours about how are scholarships good or bad. So this one's more towards Finley. What do you look for? Like, what's a pro and a con for a person who's you're looking at for a scholarship athlete?
I should probably first say that it's not the team or the committee who selects who gets scholarships for us. It's our athletics union, after quite a lengthy discussion with us about our sport and the structure of it. But I know from the conversations with them, they're looking for quite high level athletes who've competed at a high level, and they have the accolades. You really need the accolades to get onto being a scholarship. And also, they really pushed about who, as a person, deserves these awards. Because I think I had a meeting with the person who's in charge of the scholarships for us, and we were discussing not only the level of play that they've described themselves to be at and what they've done. It was also about, do we think that they'll be able to last in the gym and to go to the two team sessions we have, and then 2 other sessions that we might have in a week, and then all the trainings and be at all the games, and a lot of stuff about them, not just their athletic or performance so far in their American football career.
And then this is sort of like a glimpse to the future as it becomes more and more commonplace. Do you think that we'll see like an advent of actual university teams going full college football and basically sending scouts as opposed to other things? Do you think that that's in the pipeline for Uniball? That's to everyone.
Not yet.
I don't know. It's happening. It's happening. And UW are doing a trip. I think it was sometime this summer, or doing it later on. But I feel like obviously as now they've kind of set that example that they're going out their way to find these imports. I think it's going to become more common ground, and we'll notice more universities doing it as time goes by. Obviously, for Britball to get to that level would have its pros and its cons, but it would be great regardless, I think.
I think that it's that sort of stuff would be more dependent on how well under 19s gets ran and advertised, and how easy it is to attend the games. So I think there is a willingness from teams to want to go out and find athletes and push people to play and try to encourage them to attend their university. I think perhaps if the under 19s got more funding, more attention, and more to it, it would be easier to find athletes, contact them, and discuss scholarships with them.
Yeah, I agree, and I also think it's going to have a lot to do with just exposure of the sport in general. Germany is a prime example for it. I can only speak from experience. It's just the general population knowing about American football. It felt to me like it skyrocketed as soon as we had an actual channel on TV for American football. Pro 7 Max is called in Germany. I feel like I saw so many more people actually engaged with it, and then I like so many people more would ask me if I'm out somewhere and we would just talk about football that had never happened before, and that was like in the last 5 years. It's meaning that's really happened. So it's like it's maybe also to do with unis investing and actually maybe like filming these other stuff. The social media teams of the team, like the committee, as David is for us, and I'm also working on the highlight tapes. That's all stuff to do with just getting out there, because there are actually a lot of people still that have never heard of, or not really never heard of American football, but that they think it's like, oh yeah, it's the one with the helmet. So it's like that's not really enough. So we have that route. The more attention it gets, the more actually the unis and in general the sporting world has to actually deal with American football, recognize it, and that's how I think we will actually get to a place where yes, we will be actively looking for scouts, not just in the top 3 teams, but maybe throughout.
And then something that sort of struck me within the Sheffield Hallam scholarship summary that I was sent is there's not that view to, the Golden Land of America. A lot of what you're looking for, sort of as Finley said, is the under-19s, looking for people who've been at GB, looking domestically for your scholarships. Do you think that is going to sort of qualm this issue with scholarships but basically, like, it seems that like American has become a dirty word in Uniball somewhat. But do you think that getting British scholars in would sort of, put that to rest a little bit and show that we don't have to rely on Americans, even Europeans, not just British, but Europeans? It could sort of quell that particular disinterest in seeing scholarship players play.
100%. And I also don't think it would just quell it. I think that's actually the route we should go anyway. It's like, why look to, obviously they're going to, yes, obviously an American guy that's been playing since he's 2 years old, maybe not 2, but you know what I'm saying.
Probably 2, literally probably 2. There's not even a joke.
Yeah, you're probably right. Obviously he's just gonna have naturally a lot more experience and stuff like that. But I feel like we should just generally in Europe, but also in Uniball, just get where we have guys here. Like I've seen so many guys at GB or wherever, GB students as well. Like we have so much talent. We should, in my opinion, like invest in that and invest in our talent that we have here. Same goes anywhere else. And push those guys further. And yes, like I also think Europe definitely, because I mean now that the ELF is also going, Europe, like we will work together anyway, more close knit in the future. So we might as well start working together also at like under 19s level and uni level, because that's just it makes it a lot easier to communicate with each other.
Yeah, exactly what Jason said. It's a lot more different when you are picking up somebody who's played American football for their whole life. It is so much different. And for me and Jason, who was both at the GB students, we've seen some honestly fantastic athletes. And to think that obviously a few unis that some of these athletes were from didn't have a scholarship scheme or any sort of thing like that was a shock. And to promote that, and to promote the bringing in players of that caliber would benefit these universities so greatly. And with the incentive of being on scholarship as well, it will definitely improve exposure massively and benefit the team in general.
Yeah, I think for us, one of the big reasons why I wanted to push recruiting domestic players to our scholarship program is because obviously as a university we don't have the same academic like pulling power as University of Nottingham or University of West England, which are like phenomenal universities. Like you need A and A star grades to get in there, but whereas us, we're not able to. It's a bit more risky for, say, someone to move from America to come over to here for their degree. Whereas if they were going to Nottingham, they know they'd be getting a top class degree. But that's not to say our degrees are worthless. So it's just we're not Nottingham or UWE level. And I think we should recognise that and aim for what what is better for the sport as well, because you just make better athletes throughout the country.
No, I'm just going to reply to Seb, who's put, what is that, Chris? What is that hairstyle? Seb, why don't you get some scholarships and get back to me? All right, there you go. So players who've sort of come up through the university system whilst not being on scholarship, do they have have you experienced sort of any pushback from players because you're on scholarship?
No, the complete opposite. I think David will agree.
Yeah, definitely. I've never experienced that kind of thing. In fact, it's like they're welcoming and they're like, I don't know how to describe it. It kind of just like they welcome me into this massive family. I've never felt any sort of animosity, any sort of thing like that at all whilst being a scholarship athlete. Because at the end of the day, a scholarship athlete it doesn't mean that you're any different type of person. You're a small human being, like that kind of thing. I've never experienced that in my entire life.
Yeah, like also just to highlight, for example, how it was for me. Amit Karlik, he used to be our chair last year, offensive lineman, great guy. And also, it was like, obviously, I'm coming from a different country to England, and it's the amount of help that was just there, and like I could just ask, because obviously I don't know how everything works over here, but you've got these guys that are willing to just drive over, help you move your stuff. And the amount of times like that other players on the team just came over, helped me to transport my stuff because they knew I was flying home, and they are here. It's just like, and they celebrate everything you do. So I remember we played Uni of Sheffield first game, and we scored for first drive, and I scored it, and everyone was just ecstatic, and they were all like cheering, and we were just one family. So there's no pushback whatsoever. They don't think, okay, here we go. We've got another scholarship guy that thinks he's it. No, it's not like that. They're eager to learn. They want you to be great. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as a non-scholarship athlete, I don't think we never look at Jason or Dave say like these guys don't deserve it, because we know how hard they work for it. We know the stuff they put in. We know the stuff they've done in their past to earn it. Like we get the same gym programs or similar gym programs. I think they probably get a bit more bespoke, but I think that speaks to the overall quality of the Hallam athletics department. But yeah, it's not like we feel they're better than us in terms of or they're treated better than us, but it's like they've earned what they get, and they deserve it.
So the one thing that you see sort of out of, I know I'm going to relate it back to sort of college ball, but that's obviously where the whole sort of debate comes from. Every year, someone will post a highlight of there's a walk on, which is realistically what most of the Uniball players are, walk ons. There's a big thing. They'll sometimes have a magician, or they'll call the cops, and it's someone's mum or something like that, and then they'll get a scholarship. Do you see something like that potentially being implemented, like in the next 5 years? If there's like a star athlete who's just absolutely killing it for your squad, you just go, yeah, we want to make sure that he is not here to play football, because you do have to get a degree as well, apparently, but you're here to play. We're going to make it as easy for you to play as possible. Do you think that is something that can be brought in? Obviously not this year, but maybe 5 years, when this conversation starts to get a bit bigger and more teams are reaching out to Europe mainly.
Yeah, definitely. Being a scholarship athlete doesn't just mean you come to university as a scholarship athlete. You can definitely be earned whilst you're at university. So, excuse me. So whilst obviously at university, if teams feel like they want to introduce that kind of thing, nothing's stopping them at all. We have some great athletes at Hallam, and I'd assume a few would have applied and potentially will get it next year. So be careful, because you might not even mention it. You might see it on our social media. But I definitely see it happening.
Yeah, I think we
go.
I think we had obviously we had Jason and David last year, but I think for this year, after we got updated, after we had a conversation with our athletics union, updated what we should get scholarships for and what the different levels are in the UK. We had about, I think, probably 10 people apply who are already on the team, because obviously we have a lot of players who in our Uniball off season go and play for the Sheffield Giants Premiership team, which being part of a Premiership team makes you eligible for a scholarship, which we have a lot of. So we had guys apply who are already on the team, and we could, depending on if the athletics union's happy with letting us inform them that they're getting scholarships, we could always do the surprise ones.
Think about that social media reach, though. You post one of those, you'll get all of Uniball liking that.
Keep an eye out, definitely.
So Seb's actually asked a sensible question now. Do you think the issues with scholarships on offer at different universities are caused by the lack of understanding of the sport by the students' union or the athletics union?
Yes, 100%. Like I think our student unions actually, it has taken time. I think also over the years, what I've also heard from prior committee and stuff like that, of just recognizing American football as even being like a major sport, like that's comparable to, I don't know, swimming, athletics, whatever. So that's been, at the same time, that's exactly what we're fighting for. It's like getting the exposure, showing these people that no, American football is deserving, and it's not only showing these people. It's like you can't just say, yeah, okay, they have to recognize us. It's like you have to get in touch with these people and invite them to the games, show them what it's about, show them, okay, we're actually out here fighting. We're actually putting in the work until late in the night, and it's not just like we're putting on this helmet and then going at it and running into each other, which we sometimes do, but it's much more than that.
Because Seb's thought up where that's where the divide in the sport is. Like, I can definitely speak from experience where, Lincoln Uni, God bless you, Lincoln Uni, they could not care less. They could not care less about what we were doing. When I was there, anyway, they really didn't care that there was an American football side. It was more of a hassle for them than anything else. So, Dominic D with a good question. Where's the money coming from?
As in the money for our scholarships or what?
Yeah, I imagine so.
So the way our scholarships work is you apply once you're at Hallam, or once you've applied to Hallam, or whatever, you can apply for a scholarship through the athletics union. And what they'll do, you'll write a bit about yourself, your current level, the highest level you played at, and why you deserve a scholarship. And then what happens is that'll get checked against the eligibility criteria that we have, and then that'll get moved on to a panel from the athletics union decide who gets which scholarships. So if, for example, they would compare one guy for American football versus one guy for table tennis, for example, and see which one of those would be more valuable to have as a performance athlete. And so the money from that comes from it's heavily subsidized by the university, but also the membership fees the regular players pay for.
This is sort of more of a new one, just based on sort of how the landscape of the Div 1 North has changed. Loughborough, they're the new home of the NFL Academy. Obviously, that's going to bring a few more eyes to Oh God, I wish they had a. I wish they were the Loughborough something, but they're not. It's just Loughborough.
Students.
Yeah, but I don't like calling the students. They got annoyed because I started calling them by their old name, which was the Aces, which is a sick name, but they don't like being called the Aces. Um, so sort of with them now having the NFL Academy sort of in their back garden, we've sort of said that's not going to take any, that's not going to have any sort of marginal effect on Loughborough for at least 2 years, is what we're saying.
Mhm.
But do you think like if that starts to pick up, along with SGS Pride now being in the Prem, do you think that those things such as the NFL Academy and SGS Pride are going to lend itself to be able to give out, be able for places like Hallam to give out scholarships to people who have been more sort of formally trained than the, pardon me, the standard Uniball experience?
In the conversations that we've had with the NFL Academy and SGS Pride, I feel like their goals um, aren't quite aligned with that. I don't think their aim is to get their players um, scholarships in UK universities. I think they rightfully so, and they want to do what's best for their athletes. They want to send them over to American colleges because I think they're training them to be American football players. Like their ultimate goal is to put people in the NFL. I think that's what they're for, really. I think that's what their main goal is. So I can't see it having much of an effect on Uniball particularly. I mean, it depends. I don't know how the quantity of people they train as well. So, for example, if the people who don't manage to get over to the States and who unfortunately don't get to go to the States, I think they could end up being prime recruits for UK universities and UK scholarships.
So I guess sort of, I've not got any. I've not got any sort of more questions about scholarships. If there are people watching who do, I mean, I feel like my questions have been answered, and so I know a bit more about what's needed. Or kind of a point from Raphael, who does agree that it is sort of an AU issue. On the point of the AU recognition, I think a lot of the times recognition comes from obtaining good results, both on the pitch and in academics in general.
Definitely.
Who's having a party? One of you
What
is.
is?
I think it's
shouting.
people outside my building.
Sorry, definitely. I 100% agree with that. On our team, as much as there's a whole kind of stigma about Sheffield Hallam not being the most academic uni, a lot of our athletes still get great results, and they're still able to achieve the results that kind of boost Sheffield Hallam in general, as well as getting results on a pitch that boost the athletics union. We set records this year on the pitch, definitely, and that's something everyone's aware of. But what people aren't aware of is the amount of people that graduated with, great grades to go on to do great things, which essentially just boosts the name of Sheffield Hallam in general. So, once we were able to do that, and once we do, and whilst we do it, we do have the capability of having scholarship athletes on this team.
I think
SJ,
something.
what a terrible work around here from SJ. What a little snake in the grass. Unbelievable. Get a player working in the SU.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly what we were saying as well. And it's just like get to know the people. It's like you don't like. Obviously, you got the award ceremony at the end with the whole uni and stuff like that. That's not really when you want to be able, like when you want to see the faces of the student union for the first time. You want to already have a relationship with them. Already, they know who you are. They know what you're about. And it's just like, as we said, being present. And yeah, obviously that's a great way to just get into the student union. If that's not possible for some teams in the UK, it's not that hard to get in touch with people.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I mean, before I ask you fun questions that are related to scholarships, which I will do, just sort of closing remarks on the concept of scholarships within Uniball, if you've got any, of course.
I think for us, one thing that I realised is our scholarships that we have been allocated by the university. They're not handed out just because the athletics union likes us. We have so many sports that are all competing for spots. I mean, we went. I think we had like positive record seasons, better than 4-4 for quite a few years before we even got looked at for scholarships by our athletics union. Like I know in my first year in 2018, 2019, we went 8-0 and then played against almost went to the Northern final. And we didn't get scholarships the year after that. Like we had to work quite hard, and then also the previous committee and Ahmet Karlik worked really hard to get scholarships for us. Yeah, I don't think they're just given out and undeserved in Uniball.
Yeah, agreed. And just a general take on scholarship, like, or guys that wanted to get a scholarship, it's like, get film. I'd say that's very, very important, and like hassle people to give you the film or give you access to whatever you can get your hands on, because at the end of the day, American football is quite a visible sport. It's not like track and field where you just look at, okay, this guy runs a sub-10, whatever. No, like for us, it's like, yeah, if you have numbers, this guy got, I don't know, 12 touchdowns in 8 games, stud. But you actually want to see, okay, how does he move on the field? What plays is he making? And that is actually a lot easier in our sport to do, which is also, again, coming back to the whole point of pushing it on the individual social media sites. And that just happens through the committees. You don't really need anyone else. Like for us, obviously, David's doing it. And we're going to plug our Instagram right now. Follow @Shoe Warriors.
Follow Shoe Warriors.
And that's not Shoe Warriors SHOE. That's SHU Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't obviously say anything else. I mean, I think Jason and Finley covered majority of it. Yeah. They did an amazing job covering it all. So yeah, I don't have really any closing remarks. Oh, you're welcome.
So, scholarships, right? We can put that chapter to bed. Who's winning the North?
We are.
Just gonna outright is that we are.
100%.
Who are you gonna have in the North final? There you go. That's a better question.
Wait, is that just the North Division?
So no, so North, Borders, and Midlands. You can have in the playoff finals. There you go.
Ooh. Loughborough, I think Loughborough this year, definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Loughborough. We'll play Loughborough in the final.
I mean, I'm not really sure how it works this year, because we've got another team in our division. Like, if we can actually play them in the final, if we meet them earlier, but we're definitely looking at them to secure it.
I think for me, the teams that I'd like to see us play in the final, we'd love to play Manchester Tyrants. They're a great team. Really had tough competition with them last year. I'd love to play Uni of Sheffield in the final. I think that would be an amazing game to watch. Just for the spectators' point of view. And then obviously Loughborough again, with their huge number of players they've got and the ability for them to recruit. I can definitely see them. I can see them being there, definitely.
And then, if you've got any idea about the South, who's winning the South? Who do you think you're going to face wherever the national championships are being held? Who are you facing for the Div 1 title?
I think you talked quite highly of
Brunel.
Bruno, yeah. So
Oh, you
we'll
don't know
see.
Brunel? Oh, interesting.
Hey man, I'm not trying to start no beef or anything like that, but hey, they just ain't put their name out there like that. Maybe we do play them. I don't know. I don't know much about that side. Who did we play last time? I think SES has gone up.
Yeah, it's just as gone.
And Newcastle have gone up, so I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll have to see. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
I know
sort of-
a few of the guys from Brunel from when I played my under-19s football for the Wembley Stallions. And yeah, they're a good team. Like even though they don't have the scholarships to offer, like the level of their players would be worthy of scholarships. For example, I know one of their players has gone to play. One of their alumni has gone to play for, I think it's a Beaver Arch Beavers. To Europe and is balling out over there. Yeah, so they do have the quality of players that we'd love to see him in the final.
Who have you guys got first on the 30th?
We play our first game on the 6th against Uni of Sheffield.
Oh, unbelievable! Get an extra week. You lucky guys.
Yeah, yeah.
But then again, we're a game behind everyone else, so.
So I'm still going to pitch questions in. Any pushback for Eastern? So I've already asked that question. Why are they getting free uni? We got to pay 10k. It's not like these sports make any money ever. I've already asked that question.
Okay.
Yeah, I've already asked that question. I mean, you can answer it again if you want.
I think. I mean, I don't know if that's just we don't get uni for free.
Yeah.
It's like you get support. So that's financial support, yes, to a certain amount, but it's not like they're just going to pay for your course. So, but as I said, I mean, you're probably going to find all that if you just look at our criteria and what's in the packages, which you can access quite easily. Yeah.
And then this is my last question before we can go about our lives. Dan Johnson, what a good quarterback, am I right?
Oh,
Yeah,
not really a question, more of a statement. Let's talk about Dan Johnson for 5 minutes.
I can talk about Dan Johnson for however long you want. That guy
Yeah,
is an absolute beast of a player. Not only is he a beast of a player, he's an amazing person.
Lamar Jackson.
Honestly, I've said this. He's my favourite Uniball QB. And anyone out there, including Helmo, who plays for the Colonials, no, don't. You're boring. I like Dan. Dan Johnson's genuinely my favourite. He's my favourite Uniball QB, and I've only seen him play.
He can
I was about to say I've only seen him play once, but that's not true because I played with him on Nottingham Caesars. And you know what? I'm such a complete mark for Dan Johnson that I literally was like, oh my god, I get to block for Dan Johnson. This is sick. And all right, Dan, it's not cool if you're actually watching.
Oh, he's here.
Oh no, he's watching.
It's not cool if you watch. All right, we're going to end early. Well done, Dan. You've ruined it. You've ruined it for yourself, Dan. There, mate. I'm sorry. You've ruined it for yourself. But yeah, honestly, SJ, I'll get my rundown attire ready, simply for Dan Johnson. You won't even be on the rundown, SJ, so you can grow up for all I care, mate. but yeah, that's all I've got. Sorry. That's all that I've got. Unless anyone wants to do a nice soft pitch for Sheffield Hallam right now. Well, okay, here you go. This is actually my last question. Why should people go to Sheffield Hallam and play for the Sheffield Hallam Warriors?
Hey, first of all, if you want to catch a pass from Dan Johnson, you've got to go to Hallam. That's the first.
That's the right answer.
That's the first one. And if you want to win, you got to go to Hallam. If you want to beat the Sabres, you got to go to Hallam.
Yeah.
That's big. That's big 4 reasons right there.
Yeah. I mean, Hallam is a great university. We're top 20 in a number of courses. Our sports facilities are very good. The athletic union, our student union are very good. We have an amazing coaching staff with over 50 years plus of experience, and it's a variety of them as well. You get to surround yourself with amazing, like-minded people who essentially want to win. And it's as much as people say when companies say it's a family, they're toxic. That's not the case at Hallam. We're all a massive family, and yeah, if that's what you're looking for, definitely have a look at transferring over or try getting on clearing.
Yeah, we're a great family here at the Warriors. Like, a lot of us will end up living together, being lifelong best friends. We have alumni games. We're expecting a lot of people this year for our 20th anniversary. And yeah, if you unfortunately don't get the grades that you need for university tomorrow, which I hope everyone does, and I wish you all the best of luck.
That's tomorrow.
Consider Sheffield Hallam as apply to the university and get on the scholarships, and everything you need will be here to help you.
There you go. Do you know if Hallam they do a PhD in journalism? Is that a course you guys do? Do you know that?
I don't know. You could have a look. Go have a look.
Yeah, you can have a look if you guys want a really, really fat and shit third string left guard.
Hey man, check it out. We'll welcome you in.
Dominic, we're off the topic now. How do you think the best academies would do against the best unis? Oh,
that's a good question.
That's a good question, actually.
I know the unis are winning.
I know quite a few of the NFL Academy lot. I think it'd be a very good game. I know they played a few unis this year. I forgot which ones, but I know they played 2. They won both games. So I think it'd be an amazing game to see them against, Nottingham or UWE. Do I think they would win? It's just when I take into account, these guys are older, their size, and some of them might have more experience. It's difficult, but I think it'd be a very good game.
Yeah, I agree. It would be a good game, but yeah, you have the size and the age difference, which is substantial in a lot of cases. So, yeah.
Because that's the thing. Because I've got the Pride Uni side. I don't think they can beat the Bullets. There you go. There's my phone. I don't think they can beat the Bullets.
It's a.
Which is why for me,
I'm gonna leave that one out.
What's the most interesting matchup for me is the playoffs. If it's the Bullets versus the Gold, that's the match as far as I'm concerned. The Bullets versus the Gold. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming up on an hour. So, I guess it's fair to say if you are waiting for your GCSE results, or you're going to watch this back, and you've seen scholarships at Sheffield Hallam, wish you the best luck for people for tomorrow.
Good luck.
And sort of thank you to Finley, thank you to Jason, thank you to David, thank you to, of course, Dan Johnson for just existing. What a guy! Unbelievable.
We love you, Dan.
Unbelievable. And again, side point: people are getting their GCSE results tomorrow. So University of Gloucester, Shear, tell me if I'm going or not. That's all I want. Just tell me if I'm going. It's been 14 weeks. All right? Tell me if I'm going. All right.
I'm bad.
I honestly don't. The Gloucestershire Gladiators already say that I will be on the squad. So all I need is to get a PhD. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you very much to Finley. Oh, here we go. Hey. Well.
Yeah, if you come to uni, put the work in the gym with us, we could turn you into a top Div 1 lineman.
You hear that, ladies? You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? They could turn me into a top tier Div 1 lineman. There you 100%. Are. But again, as I've said before, thank you very much. You know what? Actually, I know, but genuinely, actually do, because I'm actually torn now. Before I get into personal conversations, because I'm already applying for Brunel as well. If anyone from Brunel is still watching, so I'm just going to glory hunt. I'm going to glory hunt my way to a ring. That's all I'm going to do. Sit on the sidelines for 4 years, still get that ring. That's all that matters to me. But yes, thank you very much, gentlemen. Wish you the best luck for your season. Obviously, you've got time. Don't do anything silly from now until then. But thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll see you around for hopefully more special Uniball broadcasts, or just wait until the rundown starts on the 31st of October, maybe. Just deal with it. But thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye. Good night.
Goodbye.
You get to do the awkward wave as the